Today, we're going to share a couple of stories, really chilling ones, that drag the darkest parts of the internet right into seemingly normal lives.
Yeah, these are about digital betrayal, but where it gets terrifyingly real.
Yeah.
We're talking about murder for hire online.
Exactly. And our focus today is tracing how this happens. We'll follow a white hat hacker who sort of stumbled onto this whole network of fake hitman sites.
And we'll look at two cases, connected cases, where these dark fantasies almost became, well, in one case, did become reality.
Let's start with the first target, Alexis Stern. She's 18, living in Big Lake, Minnesota. It's summer 2018.
Right, just got a new car, a Ford Fusion, kind of feeling that independence.
And she's driving it when her phone rings. It's the Sherburne County Sheriff's Department. They tell her, get to headquarters now.
Imagine that call, just completely out of the blue.
When she gets there, the news is, well, it's unbelievable. They tell her there's a credible threat against her life.
A credible threat. And they know where it came from.
Yeah, they do. Someone hired a contract killer from a site on the dark web called Camorra Hitman.
Camorra Hitman. And this wasn't just talk, right? They had details.
Oh, yeah. The user called themselves Mastermind365, logged on using Tor, obviously, for anonymity.
Standard procedure for the dark web.
And at first, they asked for a kidnapping. But then they changed it. Escalated the order to an execution-style shooting.
Wow. Just change the order, like ordering takeout. How much did something like that cost?
The price paid was just over $5,000. In Bitcoin, of course.
$5,000.
And they sent one single digital photo of Alexis. That was it. $5,000 and a picture.
Unbelievable. The anonymity, the coldness of it.
So the big question, obviously, is how on earth did a small-town sheriff's office in Minnesota find out about a Bitcoin transaction on a hidden dark website?
Yeah, you'd expect. Maybe the FBI. Homeland Security? Some big agency?
Nope, it wasn't any of them. The tip came from an amateur cybersecurity researcher, a white hat hacker named Chris Montero.
Chris Montero. Does he have a platform or whatever?
He runs a blog, Pirates London, apparently quite well known in those circles.
Okay, Pirate Lundy. And he just found this.
Well, he routinely surfs the dark web, looking for scams, vulnerabilities. He found this other site, Bessa Mafia.
Bessa Mafia.
I feel
similar to Camorra Hitman.
Very similar. Claimed to offer ex-military hitmen, payment in Bitcoin. You know the type.
Right. And like most people, he probably thought.
He thought it was a total scam, just trying to get Bitcoin off desperate people. He actually wrote a blog post about it, calling Bessa Mafia out as a fraud.
Okay, so he exposed them. That usually doesn't go over well.
It didn't. The site admin, this guy calling himself Yura, emailed Chris.
Let me guess, offering money to take the post down.
Exactly. Offered him $1,000 in Bitcoin. Just delete the post.
And Chris refused.
He refused. And that's when Yura retaliated. But not with a counter post. It was much more theatrical.
Theatrical? How so?
Yura sent Chris a link to a YouTube video.
Okay.
The video shows this figure, masked, hooded, walking up to an old car, dousing it in gasoline, and setting it on fire. Then, while the car is just engulfed in flames, the figure holds up a handwritten note.
What did it say?
Dedication to Pirate London.
Wow. Okay, that's chilling. It moves beyond just being a scam site, doesn't it?
Right.
I mean, here's the really disturbing part. These sites, Bessa Mafia, Camorra Hitman, they almost certainly were scams. They probably weren't ever going to carry out a hit.
So Yura wasn't actually running a hitman network?
Probably not. But what he was doing was creating this incredibly convincing performance, this spectacle of violence, like the car video.
Why? Just to scare people like Chris?
Partly, maybe. But mostly, I think, it was about attracting the right kind of customer. By making it look so real, so brutal, he wasn't just getting random people paying. He was filtering for the ones who were genuinely unstable, people willing to pay serious money.
So the scam itself becomes dangerous because it attracts dangerous people.
Exactly. Yura might not kill anyone, but he provides this digital stage, this permission structure for real malice to act itself out. He gives them a place to put their money and their intent, and that intent is real.
That makes it even more terrifying somehow, that distinction. So back to Alexis Stern. She now knows someone out there paid $5,000 with her picture attached.
Even if the hitman wasn't real, the person who paid was.
Yeah.
The threat felt completely real to her.
Absolutely. She drove home under police escort that night. Her parents, they immediately put in a top-tier security system.
I bet. And Alexis.
She started carrying military-grade pepper spray, signed up for MMA classes, Her boyfriend at the time, Robbie Olson, he even bought a big fishing knife, just in case.
Total lockdown, trying to figure out who would do this.
Yeah, she's racking her brain. Who hates her that much? Eventually, she thinks about her recent ex-boyfriend, an accountant from Britain named Adrian Fry.
Okay. An ex, that's often where police look first, right?
Yeah, it is. But Alexis had trouble believing it could be him. She actually described Adrian as a sensitive soul. Said he didn't even like violent movies. Found them too intense and gruesome.
Huh. A sensitive accountant who dislikes violence versus Mastermind 365 ordering an execution. That's quite a contrast.
It is. But investigators looked closely at the digital evidence. The chat logs between Mastermind 365 and the Camorra hitman site.
And they found things linking it back to Fry.
They found 3 pretty damning clues. Digital breadcrumbs, essentially.
Okay, let's break those down. What was the first one?
It was a spelling quirk. Mastermind 365 consistently wrote "thank you" as one word. Thank you.
Thank you. One word.
Yeah.
Is that significant?
It's a known usage, not exclusive, but particularly common in British English. And Adrian Fry, of course, is British.
Okay, interesting. Circumstantial, but interesting. What else?
Clue number 2 involved guns. Mastermind 365 tried to buy an illegal firearm through the dark web chat.
Why is that important?
Think about it. If you're in the UK, like Adrian Fry, getting a gun in the US to commit a crime would require illegal channels, right? It's a necessary step.
Right. Gun laws are very different.
But if you're already in the US, buying a handgun legally is, comparatively speaking, much, much easier. So trying to buy one illegally on the dark web points away from a US-based person.
And towards someone overseas, like Fry, planning to commit a crime in the US.
Yeah.
Okay, that's stronger. What was the third clue?
This one was the kicker, the timeline. Mastermind 365 changed the request on the site, changed it from kidnapping to murder.
We talked about that escalation. When did it happen?
It happened on the exact same day that Alexis told Adrian Fry she had a new boyfriend, Robbie Olson.
Wow. So the moment he found out, she'd moved on.
The request changed from wanting to control her, essentially, to wanting her dead. A direct digital reaction to being replaced.
Okay, put together, the spelling, the gun query, the timing, that paints a very clear picture, doesn't it? Even if it's circumstantial.
It seems incredibly clear. The intent seems proven. But here's the thing. No charges were ever filed against Adrian Fry. Or against Yura, the site admin.
So despite everything, it remained a near miss. Intent shown, money paid, but no actual hit attempted by the site, and no prosecution.
Exactly. It highlights this really difficult legal area, doesn't it? You have clear intent backed by cryptocurrency, logged in chat records, but the service itself might be a scam. Does that negate the intent legally?
That $5,000 wasn't just cash. It felt like, as you said, a declaration of war. But legally, it wasn't enough to prosecute Fry, apparently.
So Alexis Stern's case, thankfully, ended with the perpetrator failing, but it leaves this really awful question hanging there. Did any of Yura's other customers succeed? Did anyone else pay? And did it lead to actual violence?
And unfortunately, the answer seems to be yes. The potential for real-world harm becomes horribly clear when we look at another case linked to Yura's network.
Okay, let's shift to that one. Where does this take us?
This takes us to February 2016. Around the same time all this was happening, another user logs onto one of Yura's sites. This one calls themselves Dog Day God.
Dog Day God. And they placed an order.
Yes. Loaded up over $6,000 in Bitcoin. And ordered the death of a woman named Amy Allwine. She was a dog trainer in Cottage Grove, Minnesota.
Another Minnesota connection. Was Amy warned? Like Alexis?
She actually was. The FBI got involved this time. Another white hat hacker, separate from Chris Montero, had managed to scrape data from Yura's site network and passed it on. So the FBI warned Amy.
Okay, so she knew there was a threat. What did she do? What did her family do?
Well, her husband, Stephen Allwine, he reacted exactly like you'd hope a loving husband would, or seemed to.
How so?
He installed a really sophisticated security system in their house. Cameras, alarms, the works. And he bought a handgun for protection.
Buying a gun? Was that typical for him?
Apparently not. Friends said it was pretty out of the character for Stephen Allwine. But in the circumstances, it seemed like a concerned husband taking extreme measures to protect his wife.
Right. A loving gesture given the threat.
It looked like it. It was this perfect performance of devotion, really, building this layer of trust, making Amy feel secure, guarded by the person closest to her.
She must have felt terrified, but maybe also protected.
You'd have to assume so. Believing the threat was external and her husband was her shield against it.
Something went wrong. Terribly wrong.
Yeah. A few months after the warning, after the security system and the gun purchase, Amy Allwine was found dead.
Oh, God.
shot in the head. The scene was initially staged, or attempted to be staged, to look like a suicide.
But it wasn't suicide.
No, the truth was just devastating. Stephen Allwine, the husband who installed the cameras, who bought the gun for protection.
He was Dog Day God.
He was Dog Day God.
He ordered the hit on his own wife.
Yes. He was an elder in their church, the United Church of God. Divorce was basically unthinkable for him, socially, religiously.
But he wanted out of the marriage?
He was having affairs. That came out later, linked to the Ashley Madison data breach, actually. So to escape the marriage, keep his standing in the church, and there was another factor.
Right.
A $700,000 life insurance policy on Amy.
So he tried to hire a hitman through Ura's site.
Tried to. Paid the $6,000. But of course, because Ura's site was likely a scam designed to fail, the hit never happened.
So Stephen
took matters into his own hands. He used the very handgun he'd bought, supposedly to protect Amy, and shot her himself.
That's monstrous. The level of betrayal. Turning the act of protection into the means of execution.
It's almost impossible to comprehend. Using that trust against her in the most final way possible.
And they were able to prove he was Dog Day God.
Yes. His conviction was partly secured using the dark web chat logs from Ura's site. It proved his intent, his planning. It shows these sites, even as scams, attract and absolutely enable real deadly intentions.
So even though Chris Montero exposed Bessa Mafia, Ura just kept going.
Pretty much. He adapted. One site gets attention, maybe gets taken down. He just diversifies. Creates 2 more, then 3. Made them look even more professional.
Professional murder for hire sites. It's sickening.
It really is. And that professional look was chillingly detailed. They even had like an FAQ section.
An FAQ for contract killing. What kind of questions?
Horrifyingly mundane ones, almost. Like one question was literally, do you kill women?
And the answer
is played right there on the site, of course. Just industrialized cruelty.
And we know these sites, or the environment they fostered, were linked to actual deaths beyond Amy Allwine.
Yeah, the timeline overlaps with other confirmed cases that had dark web links, even if not definitively tied back to Ura's specific logs in every instance.
Like who?
There was Private First Class Brian N. Rowe, found dead, single gunshot wound. Records showed someone had offered $65,000 for his death on one of these dark web kill lists.
$65,000.
And then, completely unrelated geographically, a police officer in Moscow, high profile, murdered by teenagers who were paid anonymously in Bitcoin. They never met whoever posted the job. The technology just provided that layer of separation.
The anonymity disconnects the client from the act.
The human provides the malice, the tech provides the shield.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean? What should people take away from the stories of Alexis Stern and Amy Allwine?
I think it shows that the real danger, the deepest betrayals, often wear familiar faces. An ex-boyfriend, a husband.
Who you trust.
Exactly. The dark web, these sites, they're just a tool, a terrifyingly accessible tool for that existing human malice to find an outlet, to express itself in this transactional, anonymous way.
Yeah, it feels like the most terrifying monsters aren't hiding in the shadows somewhere else. They're behind the keyboard.
Leveraging anonymity, leveraging cryptocurrency to plan and sometimes carry out these just unthinkable acts against people they know, people they claim to care about.
It's a deeply disturbing thought. This account is now yours to carry. Thank you for listening to this terrifying story and this deep dive.
Before you go, please do show your support for our channel, Horror Docx.
Yeah, hit that like button if you found this valuable, share it with someone you think should hear it, and definitely subscribe for more in-depth investigations into these kinds of chilling true stories. Good night.